Hey there, Tim Bauer here from LiveVideoGuitarLessons.com with the practice tip of the day. This one is for the intermediate player, and today I want to talk about different voicings for four specific chords. I want to talk about E7, E minor 7, A7, and A minor 7. So let's just jump into E. Alright, so, or E7. Alright, what an E chord is the first note. All your major chords are the first note, third note, and fifth note of the major scale of your root note. So the notes of an E chord are E, G sharp, and B. And when you're putting the when you want to play E7, you're adding a fourth note to the mix, and it's the flatted seventh note of the major scale. So in the key of E, that's a D note. So the traditional way to play an E7 chord is to pick up this E note. I have other E notes in here, and when I pick that up, the open fourth string is a D, and that makes it E7. And that kind of puts the dominant the flatted seventh note is also referred to as the dominant seventh note. So that puts that note in the middle of the chord. The more bluesy way to do it, blues artists like to put it on top. It makes it more pronounced. So I'll put it over here. All right, so you kind of the buried kind of sound, and the more it's not quite as strong, softer sound. Versus. And just, pick the one that sounds the best for whatever application you're working on. Sometimes the traditional one will sound better, sometimes the high voice one will sound better. Alright, let's go to E minor. E minor is the same thing, except the notes of an E minor chord are, instead of 1, 3, 5, are 1 flat 3 and 5. So that's E, G, and B. And it's the same dominant seventh D note to make E minor 7. So the traditional way to make E minor 7 is to, again, pick this same one up and leave the open fourth string, and just this one finger, that's my E minor 7 chord. The more common way to do it for about the last 10 years or so is to make a big one. So I take my E minor chord, and there's my D note, that's for the 7 part of it, and that is another G note. G note's the minor note in here, so now I have 2 G notes in there, so it's a real kind of round, kind of strong kind of sound, Versus. And again, use the application that works best for you. You can also, now that you know the theory, a dominant 7 chord is 1, 3, 5, or 1 flat 3 and 5, major versus minor, and that flat 7 note. So you can work in different combinations of that. So if I go back to my E for a second, I can pick that up, and I could add this, and I could have 2 dominant 7th notes in there, 2 D notes. And that just makes it that much stronger. I can play my E minor 7 by picking that up and adding the same principle. So you just kind of use the one that sounds right. All right, so let's jump to A. All right, so the 1, 3, and 5 of an A major chord is A, C sharp, and E. And the flatted 7th note of an A scale is a G note. So the traditional way to play it, there's my A, and I have 2 A's in here. So I'm going to pick this one up off the 3rd string, and it leaves the open 3rd string in there, and that string is G, so that's my dominant 7th note. And I was doing that for purposes of demonstration. Normally you wouldn't play it like that, that's awkward. You'd play it this way. But I can also add a G note on top, just like with the E chord. So I just throw a G note over here. And normally, I'm demonstrating. Normally you wouldn't do it that way. Normally you'd bar and just use one of your, whichever finger is most comfortable, and add that G note on top. This is kind of the bluesy version. And again, you can double up on the dominant 7th by adding, the open 3rd string in there as G, and also adding this one on top. Let's go to A minor 7. Same thing. It's that same. The flatted 7th note is still the same D. So the traditional way, and the more common way, is to pick this A note up, and we get that same G note from the 3rd string. Or I can play my full A minor chord and add it on top here, same place, the same G note, 1st string, 3rd fret. Or I can do a combination of the 2. And just whichever sounds best. Don't pick the easiest one. Pick the one that sometimes you're going to use one form. It sounds better in a particular style, and then sometimes you're going to use the other one. So anyway, okay, because these are E and A chords, of course they translate into bar chords. So if I want to do all that same thing with an F chord, if I just pick this up, and it goes all the way up the neck, by the way. We learn 4 chords, but really we're learning 48 chords, because it goes all the way up through the 12th frets. So anyway, so I picked that up. That gives me my F7, traditional. I can throw this down here on the second string, and that's kind of the high voiced. Minor 7, same thing. That's the traditional. High voice is over here. This one's a little hard to reach sometimes, but let's go to A form. So A form, there's my B flat chord. The traditional B flat 7. I'm clearing up that middle one, so now I'm playing this G sharp note back here as part of the bar, and I'm just really moving this one up one. So there's my traditional. The high voiced one, catch it up on the first string with my little finger. And the same thing all the way at the neck. So anyway, I just wanted to kind of cover those. Sometimes it can be a little confusing, you know, why people are using different voicings. You can't tell what chords they're playing sometimes if you're just watching people. And just, you know, kind of keep the theory in mind, and it gives you options. You can play, you know, different voicings, and you know, there's nothing saying you can't start with one voice, and like for half a measure, and then add the high voice for the second half. You know, one measure of one, one measure of another. So anyway, all right, so thanks for tuning in for this practice tip. Tune in again tomorrow for another one, and I will see you next time. Thanks. Bye.